Greg Pasternak from Riverside Life, and today I'm going to be sharing with you lessons on how to use the 9 county San Francisco Bay Area classification so you can go to any site in the Bay Area and determine what the stream type is there. You don't need me to tell you, you can do it yourself. So let me show you how to do that. These are the lessons to aid users to determine stream types in the San Francisco Bay Area. And as always with this series of presentations, I'm going to acknowledge Dr. Jihao Wang, who has been lead analyst in helping me to develop the stream classification. Many people participated in data collection, and this is a 7-institution collaboration funded by the University of California Office of the President through the state of California. As a reminder, with the San Francisco Bay stream classification, there are 12 stream types, 6 artificial types reflecting different engineering needs, and 6 natural types reflecting different landscape contexts and degree of human impacts. In our field methods to develop this classification, there are 164 sites that had an 87.2% cross-validation. With further analysis, that number has gone down a little bit. I think we're at 83% cross-validation right now in the latest iteration of the statistical analysis. But in any case, what this number tells you is that the model that makes the classification is very accurate. This is the high end for this type of statistical analysis. And when I say a site or a reach, we're talking about a 200-meter long section of river. That is what we use. We call that a stream interval. Not the stream type doesn't necessarily change every 200 meters, but that's the scale of like what we were looking at when we would carry out an evaluation. Of course, when you go to a stream, you may not be able to access a 200-meter length. So that's something that we'll have to address in this presentation. The first thing we need to talk about is what do we mean by artificial, right? This is a really big deal. Now, you might be surprised but in river science, I took time to do a literature review, and there really aren't good definitions for what constitutes an artificial river versus a natural river. So this is something where we've had to develop a lot of our own ideas to say, and I'm not saying in history, people haven't ever analyzed them. Obviously, people have studied canals for thousands of years, aqueducts, like all those kinds of things. But in terms of making a rigorous scientific analysis and definitions and differentiations, this is what I'm talking about. So when we say natural and we're talking about river, we don't mean that there has been no human impact. We're not talking about fairyland here. We're talking about the earth. Humans roam around. We do all kinds of things all over the earth. Humans make an impact. Natural doesn't mean that there's been no human impact to the river and surrounding, because that's just not what you see anymore. Almost everywhere on Earth has been impacted in various ways by human impacts. What we're saying is that people have not directly gone in with equipment and shaped the channel's geometry or created its composition. So they didn't pour a whole bunch of riprap on the bank. They didn't dig a trapezoidal shape, like just really gone in from an engineering perspective, whether they did it with their own, backhoe or whether, this was permitted and engineered or not. Like, did people shape the river and potentially put in artificial materials? That's what makes it artificial. Any other kind of impact, like if they cut down the trees or over the decades, the river entrenches, those are not artificial rivers. It has to be directly engineered for us to call it artificial in this classification. Both artificial and natural streams may subsequently go through more changes as a result of broader human intervention, such as deforestation or changes in climate that affect wildfire and drought and flood regimes, all the other activities that humans do. And that even includes river restoration. So again, when we say something is artificial, we mean a very specific thing. We mean a direct intervention, typically with heavy machinery, but I guess somebody could go out with shovels, and they have changed the shape and composition of a river to some typical new patterns. As we've been working with the stream classification, there are some number, five or so, key indicators that will tell you what's going on with the stream type. And I already made a presentation that just goes through the dichotomous tree that gets you to the stream types, but I didn't go into detail about all the nuances and difficulties you might encounter. So this presentation is intended for those who practically want to go out and make a determination of a type at a location anywhere in the Bay Area. So we need to know what is an artificial or natural shape, what is artificial or natural composition, is a river deeply entrenched or not, is a valley confined or not, and is the bed sediment coarse, meaning gravel, cobble, boulder, or fine, meaning sand, silt, or clay. And sometimes I use the term mud when I'm referring to the combination of silt and clay. So, I mean, pretty much these are the five big ones that we'll need to address, and I'll be giving presentations and pushing them out to help you make these determinations as you visit sites. It's really important, I would say, to watch this presentation before you just go and wing it, because there are some key issues we've discovered as we go through this process. I also want to just give a little bit of a disclaimer. There's people are always say, well, gee, how as a deeply entrenched, oh, it's 12.1 feet, it's not, or 11.9, like, oh, well, what does that mean anything? This is my grumpy curmudgeon voice, I guess. But the fact is, like, let's not be hypocrites here. Throughout all of science, there are indicators we use, and they have high uncertainty. So in river sciences, don't even give me this. Like bed roughness, we've used Manning's N, and 0.03, 0.031. I mean, come on. We've used bankful channel. What is a bankful channel? There's like so many different ways to determine bankful. Half the people don't do it right. More than that, people call artificial channels bankful. I mean, it's just a mess. And then landform types, there's uncertainty in determining what landform you're in. I mean, we have all these new algorithms, geomorphons and, VBET and all these things. And boy, there's a tremendous amount of uncertainty. So uncertainty, look, it's endemic in any activity humans do. As I've said before, what matters is the journey, not the end. But also, when we do a stream typing, we can simply assign our level of uncertainty along with each designation to help us use fuzzy logic if you want to, a statistical method to account for uncertainty or not. So again, yeah, uncertainty doesn't mean that a science is not process-based or is totally arbitrary. And in fact, randomness itself is uncertain, but explainable. There's a lot of things in nature that are random. And, we have a whole branch of science called stochasticity, stochastic methods that deal with randomness. Just because something is uncertain doesn't mean it can't be explained and predicted and addressed.